Okay, take a seat. Show yourselves.
No.
Audience member number 1, audience member number 2, please show yourself.
Wait, what are we doing?
You're showing yourself as proof that people watching.
Oopsies.
Hayes. Are you out of shot?
Where are we in the show?
You don't have to be. If you don't want to be, you don't have to.
I'm just
Hang on, let me get this desk.
I can't cut chunks out of this. You know that, right? This is going to have to be.
I don't care. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Let's begin.
My audience members have not heard the rules of this, so this is being done as it is. Now, I was born at a very young age, much to the dismay of my parents. My mother tried to hold me in, and she tried her best, but after 2 whole weeks, I was able to claw my way out of her. At a young age, I experienced multiple traumatic events. At the age of 3, I could barely talk. At the age of 5, I could barely run. At the age of 18, I could barely pay taxes. But now, I've made it here. I can go to school, I can drive, usually even legally. I go to work, and I have no money because I even pay my taxes. But taxes are boring, and so is this intro. And this is all about me. So, I am Wayne Reno, and I'm a student at Ballard Memorial High School, with a lovely setup as you can see here. Now, I am second in command in everything that I do. That includes my relationships. So, I am the Vice President of our local Future Business Leaders of America chapter. I'm Vice President of our newly created Skills USA chapter, and I am Vice President to the Vice President in our Student Council. Some people call that treasurer, but that's too boring. Now, as for who I personally am, I do not know who I am. So, I hired out this part to my friend Weston to give a truly honest opinion on who I am. Now, Weston described me as a strapping young man who is very disciplined, diligent, and stoic. I'm honest and dependable, and also enjoy many forms of entertainment, usually self-created, such as silliness, hootenanny, and other things that I cannot remember at the moment. Now, I was told that I would have to have a story for this speech, but I am not an interesting person. So, I shall now describe to you my near-death experience. I spent multiple long years, very, very long years at Greg's Supermarket. It was a horrible place and I wanted to leave. So, one day, I yelled at my manager because it was raining, the temperatures were quickly dropping below freezing, and I wanted to go home. So, he sent me home, probably because I yelled at him. So, I got in my car, started it up, and it just barely started as usual. I hopped in, I plopped it in first gear, and I tried to leave, and it didn't. So I slammed on the gas and it finally moved. I pulled out onto the main road, and I began spinning. Not my tires, but in circles. At this point I knew this would be a very dangerous drive home. So, I scooted my car into second gear, and I began driving. Slowly and carefully down a perfectly straight, perfectly flat road with 0 obstacles. Except for the ice. And the ice got to me. I was driving, and the rear end began to get squirrely. So, in my mind, I remembered all the years that I've watched cars, the words of Doc Hudson in my mind, you gotta turn right to go left. So, I turned right into an old man's ditch. I hit his trash can on the way. It went all over my car. At this point, I see an old lady come out onto her porch. I think, well, she must have heard this commotion. She's coming to save me. And then she lit up a cigarette and stood on the porch for 5 minutes, finished off her cigarette, and went back inside. I thought I was done for. I was miles away from home, out in the cold, in the dark, in a ditch, in a car that was not made for off-roading. So at this point, I knew what I had to do. I had to call my father because I was scared and I wanted to go home. I wanted to be at home and be in my warmth and be in my bed. So he came and picked me up. We scooted our way home, and I snuggled into bed with a nice cup of hot chocolate. It was a near-death experience, and I've learned to appreciate every day, as even at 15 miles an hour, it'll scare the poop out of you. Anyways, that's all I got for this speech, guys. So, adios amigos. After a while, crocodile, and I will see you later, alligator.